So I just got done sanding the boxes here, and I used 150 grit sandpaper, and I think they turned out pretty nice. I'm very happy with just how flush everything turned out, even though I was using a pretty nice saw to cut the angles and stuff. It was still probably like a 1/16 of an inch off, but after you got everything done, sanded, I mean, everything's smooth, feels nice. I think bamboo will enjoy growing in there, and if you think that your pots are nice, then I think your bamboo has a better chance too. It was nice having them up on a higher level here while I was sanding them, just to not bend over and have to stoop over and get to everything. So it took me a little while, but I mean, there's some imperfection spots, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm gonna have them over there, and there's probably only gonna just be the face and maybe like the side that you walk next to that you can see. So I mean, in reality, you could probably have 2x4s on the other two sides and not even tell a difference. But if you're making it, you're gonna tell a difference. So this was the one stain that I am thinking of doing. This is the Penafin, which I use on this deck, which I haven't yet power washed, cleaned, and re-oiled this deck yet this year, which that may be another video. But this is the stain that I normally use, and I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I did have one other stain here, which is more of a reddish one, which that's what I use on that little lattice over there, Japanese lattice, to grow some stuff up on. It's a lot more red. Both of these have lots of UV protectant in it, but as you can see with this one, just how kind of deep it gets down into there, versus this one is just kind of a thin layer, doesn't really get down in as much. So I may have made the mistake of asking my wife which one she liked more, and she said that she wanted something in between the two of them, which these are the two that I already have. So I may just say that the store didn't have them. But I think with this green bamboo here, it's kind of going to be the color. These are not going to be the bamboo that go in there, but with that green contrasted next to kind of this golden color, I think is going to be awesome. So this is it right now. So here are the planter boxes after I've given them a couple coats of oil. Here, I think they turned out really good. I'm happy. I think the bamboo will be happy, and that's kind of all that matters. So just, this is going to be some sort of comparison of, sorry about the wind here. It's not the best day for me to be out here doing this, but it's COVID and I'm bored, so I'm making some boxes. But I think with that green and just with the nice golden color of the bamboo stalks with the gold color of these two will be nice. So what I used is Penafin, which I'm not sponsored or anything by them, but this is what a lot of people use on their boats, just for UV protection and water protection. and this is what I normally use on my deck too. And normally this entire deck I can use maybe 1.5 gallons or 2 gallons to do the entire thing. So really all I used, here I'll show you, it was just maybe like a quart, even a pint. So you can even just buy a small container of it, and what you do is you apply it, and you're supposed to wait 30 minutes for it to absorb, and then you wipe down any excess, and then wait another 3 hours and apply a second coat. And kind of, because it's so cold out here today, I think before I put soil or anything in it, I may even end up applying a third coat, just to let the pores of the wood open up a little bit. But so far so good. Alright, so what I'm going to do for the bottom of these pots here to hold the soil in the bottom is I'm going to use some of this chicken wire. This is, I think, about 1-inch mesh, and all I've done is I've just kind of rolled it out and cut about 2 inches away from each side. And so I'm actually going to flip this pot over, and it's going to go up underneath on top of this thing to provide at least another 2 inches of gap of air in between the ground and where the soil is sitting. So the soil will sit probably about right there, and then once I get that stapled in, I'll put a layer of just landscape fabric so none of the soil falls through the mesh. So same thing here, just kind of did 2 inches around, and so I'll put the chicken wire on, and I'll lay this on the top and just lightly staple it. This really doesn't have to be that strong. The chicken wire is holding most of the soil up, so the chicken wire needs to be secured tightly the most. And then I'm also going to keep this up off the ground, so this is the bottom. Either I might just buy 4 bricks and set it on 4 bricks in a corner, or I may use some more of this pressure treated and just make some little 2-inch legs on each corner, just so that the soil is going to be at least 4 inches above the ground, so no bamboo runners will be able to get through, or if they do try to get through, at least you'll have 4 inches to see what's coming through there. Those stumps that I left on my arborvitae bushes just aren't going to be big enough for me to set this down on, so I am going to have to make some legs. But I just wanted to show kind of how the mesh goes in the bottom here, at least how I put it in. And because the chicken wire is so flexible, I really didn't have to cut it. I could just bend it around these posts, and right now it's just kind of stapled in. I'll probably put some screws in the corners where I really want it strong, but you can see the mesh is up off the ground, and once I got that secure in there, all that goes on there next is just to lay that down in there like that, and make sure there's no huge gaps for soil and stuff to go through. I am a little worried about just how strong the mesh might be, but I think it might sag a little bit. I'm gonna plan on just using fir bark mostly, which isn't that heavy, maybe a little bit of compost mixed in for the soil, the bamboo, so these shouldn't be that dense. But right now it is looking good. I'll get that fabric stapled in, and then the next thing I'm going to do is install the rhizome barrier around the sides here, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's the pot for the bamboo finally done. I decided to go with just some pressure treated feet because I already had pressure treated wood here, so I just cut some 4x4 inch squares and kind of lightly screwed them to the bottom. And now I got the rhizome barrier in here too. This stuff is super thick. I mean, this is 60mm stuff. I mean, it's basically just like hard plastic. So I found the best way for me to cut it was to lightly score it one time, then kind of go through with medium pressure the second, and then finally a third pass you can kind of cut right through it. But I had to taper some of this stuff down just to fit into the box, but very happy with how it turned out. I have the basically just the tops screwed in here, and my post here, I didn't even attach anything to the post. I just kind of bent around it, and once you get the soil in here, everything is gonna press down and compact a lot better. I have these flaps here overlapping at the bottom on all four corners because you really don't want those rhizomes to have any gaps to go to. So I'm just leaving stuff loose down here, and then once you pile in your soil, all that stuff is going to firm up. So that's it right now. It's just waiting for some soil and some bamboo, and it'll be happy.